Tonight's lesson is 3.2, At the Arcade, determining rate of change from a table. So today in class we talked about determining the rate of change from looking at a graph. Today we're going to use tables to find the rate of change. On page 150 in your book, you can follow along with me as I read. So far you have determined the rate of change from a graph using rise over run method. However, you can also determine the rate of change from a table. So just like I said, today we used graphs in class, and then tonight for homework we're going to use the tables. 1 says, complete the steps to determine the rate of change from a table. Step 1, choose any two values of the independent variable and calculate their difference. Remember, independent variable is always on your x side. So here's our x and here's our y. Our independent variable is always here. Your book chooses to use 12 and 40. Okay, and again, we're just finding the difference between the two. And I like to start with the bigger number and subtract the smaller number so I can keep positive numbers. 12 minus 40, or sorry, 40 minus 12 is then 28. However, is it okay to take 12 minus 40? Yeah, you just get a negative 28. So either way is technically fine. Again, I just like to keep positive numbers. Step 2 wants you to calculate the difference between the corresponding values of the dependent variables. So you have to pick the two y values that go along with the x values that you just picked. So again, I picked 12 and 40 for my x values. Now I need to pick the same ones on my y side. So I'm going to take 440 minus 216, and I'm going to get 224. And again, I can take the bigger number, 440, and subtract off the smaller number. Oops, sorry, that's what I just did. Ignore that. I can take the smaller number, is what I was going for here, minus the bigger number, and I just get a negative 224. So again, it doesn't matter which order, it's all up to your personal preference. Step 3 then is to write a rate to compare the change in the dependent to the change in the independent variable. So you're always going to have your dependent on the top and your independent on the bottom. And for Ms. Roan's class, I talked to my class today about the constant of proportionality. We always said was y, or k equals y over x. So it's the same thing when doing the rate of change. We're always going to have y on top of x, the dependent variable on top of the independent variable. So again, I'm going to choose to use my positive numbers, and I'm going to do 224 over 28. You could, again, do negative 224 over negative 28. Doesn't matter, same thing. Okay, step 4 then is to rewrite the rate as a unit rate. So you're going to, I like to scale up or down. So I'm going to divide by 28 on the bottom, which means I divide the top by 28. And on top of my 1, I'm going to get an 8. And I got kind of squished on room there. But I got 8 over 1 for an answer, or just 8. And same thing here. I'm looking to get a 1, so I'm going to divide by negative 28. If I divide this side by negative 28, I should get 8 on top, and again, an answer of 8 as a unit rate of change. I'm going to let you go ahead and finish the rest of problem 2. So you have page 151 all the way up until, let's see here, where does it end? All the way up until page 156. So I'll write that down for you just in case you need it. Finish problem 2, and it's through page 156. All right, we will do the rest of it tomorrow in class. Have a great night.